Hi everyone, it's Lynn. Just wanted to talk to you about the next color draw that we're going to do. Sorry it's been a while for me to do this, but these take longer to get together. But I did want to show you some of the stuff that I've been working on. So I'm going to put the overhead on. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff I've been working on. So this is one of my first quilts, honestly. This is a quilt that I did for my sister. It's very special to me. And these were extra blocks. And it's a neat quilt. It's got a lot of love in it. But so a lot of times I'll just make these little mats. And I put them on lots of different tables and flat. If there's a flat surface in my house, it's going to have a mat on it. And I don't even care what color because I just use everything. But I was working on, I had this done forever, and I had practiced some quilting on it. This is really rough quilting. It's when I wasn't very good. But it's a good reminder of where I started. And I think that that's good for me to go, hey, I started here. This was rough. And I think I was doing free motion, like I was trying to do free motion, which is really good to practice on these kind of things. So I love it. I think it's got some, but I just put the binding on it this week. And what I was thinking is binding's not my favorite. I'll be honest with you. Binding is like really just tedious for me, especially if you do show binding where you're applying it to the front and then you turn it over, iron it, and then you hand stitch the back, which is fine. I mean, that's beautiful and I love doing that, but I don't have time for hand stitching all the time, and it's not my favorite part of the process. And I'm sure everybody's got hey, this isn't my favorite part of the process. And for me, it's binding. But I usually do my binding 2 1/4 inch. And I really wanted to see, I get frustrated because the flap on the back of it in 2 1/4 inch it just seems, if I machine it which means I machine bind this down so that I'm not hand stitching it down. So I come through here and I do a stitch on the edge, which then I turn over and you have this little flippy thing, which if you're hand stitching it down, you're not going to see. But if you're doing this little flippy thing, so if you do 2 1/4, it's really wide, and I didn't like the way it looked. And I thought, you know what, let me cut 2 inches instead of 2 1/4 and see if I can get what I want. And I think I did, and I'm pleased with it. So it's not wider here to where that flips. It's really hard to tell because it's all red on red. So that doesn't flip like it does. So I think it looks a little bit cleaner. So I like it, and I was really pleased. This is, if you've not done a log cabin, this is a great pattern to start with. This is Eleanor Burns' log cabin. And essentially a log cabin is you cut a square, doesn't matter what size. I mean, I think this is 1.5 inches. I think these are 1.5 inch logs. You cut a square and then you cut, it's got a dark side and a light side for a log cabin. So this is the center of the house, the log cabin. And you cut a square and then you sew a square to a square, and then you sew this to this piece, and then you sew this to these pieces, and then you sew this. Do you see what I'm doing? And then you sew this, and then you sew this, and you sew this. So you're just working yourself around the whole thing. And so it's a lot of piecing, but this is, honestly, if you're learning how to cut and you're learning how to sew 1/4 inch and you're learning how to press, this is one of the best. I think bottom line, it's one of the best blocks to learn. And not only that, but because of how you turn these blocks with light and dark, it can make tons and tons of patterns. So this is a sunlight and shadows organization, or layout. Layout's the right word. Layout. So all of the darks are in the center and then all the lights. So you'll have little kind of snowballs of dark and then light and then dark and light, and then this would be another dark kind of thing in the bigger one. You can do rows, you can do barn raising, which is kind of circles around with dark and light. It's really a powerful pattern and a very easy technique. and people think it's much more complicated than it is, which is nice. So what I did is I just chose 3 colors I love. And I love red, yellow, green together. And bottom line, this red, yellow, green combination's been done since the 1800s, 1700s. So very time-tested color combination that is never going to really totally go out of style. So I love red, yellow, green together. I just randomly chose some red, yellow, greens, put them together. So it's kind of the mustardy color and, of course, these deep reds. And it doesn't have orange in it. Can you believe I made a quilt without orange? It's shocking. It's really shocking. So anyway, but I thought I'd show you that and talk about how I've really kind of discovered that I do like doing a 2-inch if I'm doing machine binding. If I'm doing hand binding, 2 1/4 is still fine. I don't know. I may do 2-inch too. Except for you really have to hold your, hold it down well. I don't know. Anyway, so there we go with that. I love it. Thought that was fun. That's going to go someplace in my house. Now, what color are we going to color? I don't know. These are getting harder for me. Because I don't like pulling the same fabric and pulling the fabric and putting it all away has been like, oh, it's driving me a little nuts. So last time we had violets. I don't know what we're going to have this time. It looks like this color right here, which is... Oh, it's another brown. Oh, this is called mahogany. Mahogany. Oh, it's one of those red brown. This reminds me of horses. Did I say that when we did chestnut? I think I did. Okay, this is that red-brown color. Okay. Okay, so this is week 19, which we know I've not been keeping up with that. So, and it's, I don't know how to spell, so I'm going to have to look at this. M-A-H-O-G-A-N-Y. Mahogany. All right, mahogany. This is kind of a unique brown. Like, it's not like that chocolate brown. It's definitely got a lot of red in it. You could almost say it is a red brown. Oh, that's kind of pretty. All right, we're going to have to think about what this is. We'll see what the color book has to say about it. So pull your red browns. I think this color we're seeing a lot of right now, though. I really do. This color, because we're seeing a lot of those neutral type colors in a lot of the artwork and stuff you're seeing. So this color is kind of a neat color. All right, I think this is going to be, I think we're using this color more than we think. Like, I think I'm working on a quilt right now that would go with this that I can't tell you about yet because it's super secret. Hopefully I'll get it done in the next month. You'll know all about it because I want you to know all about it. But so anyway, so mahogany. Mahogany. Goodness, I don't know. Should be interesting. All right. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye.